am working on my Ridgid 12-inch compound miter saw, and I'm trying to upgrade the dust collection. It comes stock with this little dinky dust bag, which does an okay job, but doesn't work well. Most of what I do, I've got an aftermarket, just a table that I built for this that has air collection built into it, so when the saw goes through the table, it collects the dust coming in and comes out this port on the back. I've got another video on how I made this. At some point I need to make a more in-depth video about that. But this dust collection down here, this really only works when you're sawing and pulling the saw, which you're not supposed to do. So I'm going to try to upgrade this to where it will collect the dust better when you are pushing the saw back in, which is the way these are intended to be used, and is certainly the safest way to use it. So when I'm down here pulling it, I do that for my own reasons. It is not the recommended way to do it. You should not do that. It is dangerous. The saw can catch on things and come flying forward and injure you badly. So don't do that. Don't use these as a pull saw. What I have got, I've got a little template over here that I cut out and kind of wedged in here, and I am using a hole saw. I'm not sure what size hole saw this is. This is a 2 1/4 inch hole saw that I'm going to try to drill through that metal right there and make a dust collection port. And we'll see how well this works out. Alright, went ahead and pulled the pilot bit on this, and we'll just see what kind of a train wreck this turns into. Well, it's starting to work. If I can keep that little guide template in place without taking my finger off. Oh, let's see here. Well, it's more or less working. It's making that hole a little bigger than I intended. Okay. What I was worried about is this plastic, I believe it's an anti-kickback, although I'm not entirely sure what that is. Nope, I don't know. I should know, but I don't know what that is. Kind of feels like it's a guide for the dust coming through there. I may remove that just to get it out of the way of the dust collection. Next, what I'm going to do is make a new piece of wood matching this one out of 3/4 material, probably. And I think, well, I may not have to do anything else. That actually fits pretty well. So I am going to put a splitter on this hose so it collects air and dust out of the lower port and the upper port. We'll just see how she works. I might go ahead and give this a test run. Okay, I'm going to turn on my dust collection. This is going to get loud. We'll try it without the dust collection. Okay, well, after watching that playback, I can see that with the dust collection turned on, it sucks almost all this dust that just comes flying out of the tool typically, sucks that in through the vacuum. So I would call this a success. I'm still probably going to use this primarily in the pole configuration where it vacuums the table, but I may also hook a hose up there. I did notice that this hose gets caught up on a lot of things. It gets caught up on anything that I've got up here, and I usually keep all kinds of stuff up there. So it works, and works every bit as well as I hoped it would. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to put probably a screw or two in here to attach this to the aluminum, and I will probably go with the 3/4 inch. I need to make a new one. This one got kind of torn up when I was cutting it out, but I think this is going to work fine. So that's another viable upgrade for dust collection on your saw, and it's quite a bit safer than having your saw in a pole configuration, which these are not designed to be used in. Now, if you are only using this as a chop saw, if you're not using it as a sliding miter saw, then this lower dust collection makes a whole lot more sense, because there's no chance of the saw coming forward if it doesn't have the option of that sliding action. So chop saws, I would just go with the lower dust collection setup. Compound miter saws that have a sliding arm, radial arm, seem to work well with both lower and upper dust collection. Be safe, follow the instructions. I'm not a safety guide. All that legal disclaimer that you need in there. Use tools in the way they're intended. I'm just trying to give you all some ideas for how to make your shop safer. I do believe that dust in cabinet shops is still the #1 cause of cancer in cabinet shop workers. So dust collection is extremely important, and this has dramatically reduced the amount of dust that comes out of my saws. Thanks again for watching. I hope it was helpful, gave you some ideas for projects you might want to take on to make your shop safer. If it was helpful, please consider following the channel, liking and subscribing, and share it with a friend. Thank you.